Yeah, they got you.
Okay. And Neil, just let us know when you'd like us to get started.
Let's start away. Thank you so much for your time, Kirstin.
Okay, no problem at all. So, good evening, everybody. It's evening time here in Glasgow in Scotland, and thank you so much for coming along to our session this evening. We were just a tiny bit late getting started with one or two technical hitches, and but we'll get going now. So, thank you so much for coming along and joining us. And this session, as part of the online open day, is a more general session. So in this session, we're going to be talking in more general terms about what it's like to learn online as a postgraduate student. So welcome. So Anil, if you wouldn't mind moving on to the next slide. So what we're going to be talking about, as I said, is more generally experiences of learning online as a postgraduate at University of Glasgow. So if you wouldn't mind moving on to the next slide. So who are we in the session tonight? So I'm Kirstin Stuart James. Welcome again, everybody. I work as the academic lead of online education in what we call here MVLS, which is medicine, veterinary and life sciences postgraduate studies. We also have Jenny Crow on the line, who is digital education team manager and also a PhD student, and Anil, who has been hosting tonight, who is our marketing and communications officer. So what are we going to be covering in brief this evening? Anil, if you wouldn't mind moving on to the next slide. So I'm just going to say something in brief about University of Glasgow. I'm going to be talking a little bit about postgraduate study, and if you haven't studied as a postgraduate before, how that differs in different ways to undergraduate studies, something about mastersness, what it's like in addition to the content, what does it mean to study as a postgraduate, some thoughts about online learning, if it's the right way to learn for you. And then I'm going to be handing over to Jenny, who is going to show you some examples of practicalities of learning online. And then we have time for some questions and to think about what the next steps might be. And Neil, if you wouldn't mind moving on. Okay, so in brief, University of Glasgow is based in the city of Glasgow in terms of its campus. It was established in 1451, which is quite some time ago. I was trying to find out at one time which king was on the throne at that time, and I think it was James II of Scotland, but I'm prepared to be corrected on that. It ranks in the top 100 of universities in the world. It's a member of the prestigious Russell Group of research-intensive universities here in the UK, and has some notable alumni associated with it, and Nobel laureates connected to the university, including Professor Robert Edwards, who was awarded the Nobel Prize for Medicine. He co-established with colleagues the world's first IVF clinic in 1980. University of Glasgow has 43,000 plus students from 140 countries studying with us, of whom 1,500 are currently studying online, and over 900 of those students are studying online in MVLS alone. If you wouldn't mind moving on to the next slide. University of Glasgow is also connected globally in different ways. We have partnerships with different universities around the world. Founding member of Universitas 21, Guild of European Research Intensive Universities, and also an associate member of Civis, an association of civic universities in Europe, which means that these are universities that are very connected to where they come from in terms of making an impact to the community where they're based. And in addition to that, University of Glasgow is very committed to achieve carbon neutrality as part of its plans. So a little bit of background to University of Glasgow. So why might you want to come and further your studies as a postgraduate? So you will maybe already studied deeply as an undergraduate, and now you're thinking about deepening your knowledge in your chosen topic area. It moves you towards being a topic expert in what you're wanting to go on and develop your knowledge in. Many people want to come back and study as a postgraduate because it supports their career progression. As you move into more leadership roles and more management roles, or progress professionally, employers are often looking for what they call level 11 study or evidence of master's study, and a postgraduate degree is a very significant way to evidence your deepening knowledge at a master's level in your professional field. It also deepens your knowledge of your chosen topic area, not only deepening your knowledge, but preparing you to critically engage more with contexts and paradigms of the topic that you're interested in. It's moving much more towards not taking things for granted as a postgraduate, which I'll say a bit more about in a second. Some people also want to come back and study as a postgraduate as a career pivot. So they may want to go and study in a different field or change career path, and a master's qualification, postgraduate qualification, is a really good way to explore something different in your career journey and prepare yourself for employment in a different field. Would you mind moving on to the next slide, Anil? So in terms of master's study, the way that they are usually organised are in terms of kind of as an online student, it tends to be that most people will be studying part-time, which usually is over 3 years. So what this means is that the first year of study, the first 60 credits, will be a postgraduate certificate, moving into a postgraduate diploma where you would have accrued 120 credits at master's level 11. And then year 3 would be the MSc year. Often this takes the form of a dissertation, but there are also other alternative ways of achieving the 180 credits of an MSc. And beyond the content knowledge, deepening your content knowledge and skills in a chosen area, there's also something that we refer to as mastersness or postgraduateness. So alongside developing your expertise and knowledge in a topic area, you're also developing yourself as a learner in your own sort of professional journey or with your own personal development. And this means developing an appreciation for criticality and critical engagement with the topic area, but also you're likely to take leadership courses, management courses, research courses, and also there's opportunities for developing your professional network as part of a cohort, part of a group of learners working alongside each other. Anil, would you mind moving on to the next slide? So, of course, you can also study in person. So what might be some of the reasons that you would choose to study online? So what studying online means is that there's more flexibility to study around professional, personal, and also travel commitments. As I said before, part-time study means that most people are also doing something else alongside. It can make it more affordable for people because you don't need to relocate to a city, to a new city, looking for housing and so on. And also the design of online programs means that there's the opportunity to study in a self-directed, self-paced way. The design of online learning means that there's opportunity to think for yourself about when is the best time for me to learn, what time of day is good for me, do I want to do this in bite-sized pieces, or do I want to take longer periods of time, perhaps some leave or a break to study in a more concentrated way. So there's more flexibility as well around how you might engage with a topic, how you might organise your learning around other commitments. So you would be learning from the same faculty as students who are on campus with access to similar resources in terms of the library support, personal support, academic support, and so on. And I'm going to hand over to Jenny in a moment. We have considerable expertise in learning technology and the learning design, University of Glasgow. It's exemplary, the way that the courses are organised and designed to support your learning. And we endeavour to make the learning as interactive and engaging as we can. Anil, would you mind moving on to the next slide? So at this point, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Jenny Crow, who's going to talk to you in a little more depth about some of the design and practicalities of online teaching and learning. Anil, would you mind stopping sharing this screen, and we'll hand over to Jenny.
Great, thanks, Kirstin. Apologies, I was slightly late because my technology, it never works perfectly on the day, and also my webcam isn't working, so I have tried. So my name is Jenny Crow. I am the MVLS, so the College of Medical, Veterinary and Life Sciences Digital Education Team Manager. So I lead a team within the college that helps the academic staff build their content online. And we do a lot to do with the student experience, and we want yourselves to have a great student experience at the University of Glasgow. And that's something that I'm really passionate about. I am also a part-time PhD student, so I understand quite a bit about what it's like juggling work, home life, studying. So I can appreciate things and empathise with yourselves thinking about taking this on. So yes, so my team and I, we work very closely with the academic staff. It's a partnership, also the administration team, to work on the Moodle courses. So this is Moodle. So some of you might have experienced Moodle from another university, or might have experienced Moodle from a previous degree at the University of Glasgow. So Moodle is like our house where all the content and where your learning is delivered. So there's various different functions within Moodle. So you can see your grades, you submit your assessment, you access the learning. There's different communication platforms that we have discussions on, also within the university ecosystem of platforms. So this is a typical course. This is one of our popular courses in sport and exercise science and medicine, which we have recently redeveloped with the academic team. And this is their content. Sometimes our content looks like different, depends on the subject matter. Sometimes our content is in video form. Sometimes it's built in Moodle directly, or sometimes in other platforms. So we work with the academic staff to see what's best for their content. So this is a typical week that I'm going to click into. And you can see here we've got some learning expectations, we've got a checklist of what you have to do, then we've got our main body of learning, and then we're having some discussions on teams, and then we've got a link to some reading for that week. And the reading list is really great because it shows you what is core, what is optional reading, so you know exactly what you have to do. And then we'll click in here and it'll tell. So we've got some reading to do, and then we will have some video content to watch as well. So the idea is that this is built with real practical knowledge of the subject area. I also thought you'd show you a slightly different one. So this is our program in infant mental health and development, which is a relatively new program for ourselves. So this is our hub landing page, and you can see we've got various different resources to help you with your studies. We have wellbeing, university resources, study skills, help guides, a bit about student reps, so we encourage feedback from yourselves. We're really passionate about your health and wellbeing as well. A lot of the different university services are offered online, so you can get an appointment with our counsellor, you can meet our librarians online. So most of our services are delivered with virtual appointments as well. So we're really geared up to online learning, and advisors can meet you on Zoom or Teams, and you can schedule a time to meet them online. Our staff are very good at organising video calls, and you can speak to staff in various different means. So this is our program hub with various different resources. I also thought I'd show you some slightly different content that we have delivered, and this is in our public health course. So we've got some nice resources, and we aim that it's accessible on different devices so you can learn on the go. We provide alternative formats. We're also very considerate of those with disability needs, and we provide accurate subtitles or transcription for all audio and video. We also have a disability team who assist students with their needs. So if you have a registered disability, you can connect with the disability team and we can work around what you need for your learning. So they're a really great team to connect with, and they will support your learning journey with us. We're also always open to feedback of something like this doesn't work for me, and we will work to try and provide the learning in a format that is suitable for you with your needs. And we are very keen to hear from students about how it's going. We have student staff liaison committees where students have the opportunity to talk to the staff about the learning, and our aim is that you have a really positive learning experience. We provide additional sessions through our student learning development. This semester, they've been providing presentation guidance on how to create presentations, and also in artificial intelligence, which were two very interesting sessions. And then last semester, we provided ones on critical assessment and poster presentations. All these sessions are recorded, so if you can't attend due to work commitments, home commitments, time zone issues, then it's possible to watch these at a later date. Some of the concerns with people online is like, oh, will I have to do live assessments? If these are rare, if there is, we tend to give you as much notice as possible. Also, for live sessions, we give you as much notice as possible. I know students are very keen to attend these live sessions and connect with their peers and with their staff. We give you as much notice as we can for these. Also, these sessions are recorded, so there's no so we try to make it as flexible as possible for you. I'll go back to Moodle and share that we run this 10-week structure on the whole. I'm going to go navigate back to the course, and we have 10 blocks of learning. Over kind of, this one just happens to have 11, you've got to pick the one that's different, you know. So we roughly run a kind of 10 to 12-week schedule. So we have semester 1, which runs from September to December. Then we have another semester which runs from January to March. And then we're thinking about semester 3, which starts in April and then runs till July. So this allows us to allocate the credits, the 60 credits over the year, and then the second year runs similarly. Third year is a dissertation, so or project, and that is more self-paced within the year. So there's less of a talk component within that. So I think I'll hand back to Kirstin, and then I think I'm getting a little bit more time to speak to you later on.
Anil, would you mind resharing the presentation? Thank you. So just while Anil is bringing that, we're almost at the end of presenting. I'm not sure, Anil, how you would like people to ask questions. Would it be in the chat, or can people unmute, bearing in mind we're recording?
They can definitely unmute and ask any queries.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
So is also there. So
yeah, we're very happy to take any questions,
Yeah,
even
for
if you
sure.
feel it's a bit of a silly question. Very open to all questions. Can't guarantee we'll know the answer, but we're very enthusiastic about questions. And also, if you have any further questions, feel free to, we have for each of the different programs, we have a website and different contact email addresses. So if you don't think of the question right now, you can always email in and the program team will get back to you. Also, if it's a program specific question, we might need to refer that on, so we could take some contact details. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jenny. So Jenny gave some practical examples there of what it would look like to be an online student. And of course, beyond that, there's other opportunities to speak to your fellow students, occasionally through sessions that are held more like a seminar. So some programs would also invite you to things that are happening live. There might be a live webinar about an assessment, but many things work what we call asynchronously. So it doesn't matter what time zone you're in or when you're free to work. You know, you could catch up on a discussion forum, for example, or a Teams chat. And of course, there's also good old email to get in touch with program directors and so on. So I think Jenny's given you a flavour of what it's like to study online, with the key being that we really have quite a deep and rich understanding of the context that you're all learning in. So flexibility, variety, different ways to engage with learning, really appreciating your journey through a programme and through a course is absolutely key. So I will come to the question in the chat in a minute. Thank you so much for posting that, Louisa. So it kind of fits in with one of my frequently asked questions. So is it the same degree? It's the same degree that you'll get. So you don't get a different degree by studying online as you would if you're on campus. So postgraduate certificate, postgraduate diploma, MSc are all degrees that you obtain from University of Glasgow. So coming specifically to your question, Louisa, in some ways, studying online, perhaps sticking my neck out saying that, shows a little bit more tenacity because there is a bit more under your direction when you're studying online. Now, people might argue with me about that because this is, something that people do no matter what degree you're going to be studying next. It's no doubt that this is a commitment. It's a commitment to your own learning. It's a commitment to time, and it's a commitment in lots of other ways to studying. But what online learning would give you in terms of advantaging yourself in the workplace is that you can show that you can study in a self-directed way. And that shows that you have organizational skills, that you can plan, that you can pace yourself, that you can commit to something. And yes, all of those things. So I hope that answers your question, Louisa. The other thing about employability is that is also something that is that we do consider in the design of courses in terms of what is this bringing to your employability. So as I was saying before, postgraduate degrees deepen your knowledge, but really we understand that as people are moving through their postgraduate studies, they are also often developing professionally. So what else people are doing when they're studying as a postgraduate is they're also developing knowledge and skills in leadership. So developing theoretical knowledge as well about leadership within their field, and also developing research expertise in their field, so that through studying as a postgraduate, you're positioning yourself to move into an expert leadership and research role within your chosen field. I hope that's helpful, Louisa. Yes, and you're right. Yes, you can, of course, access university premises. You are fully enrolled as a student in the university. So if you are able to, come to the library, use those facilities, great. And also what's wonderful for faculty is graduation. So you also have the opportunity to graduate in person, which is always a wonderful celebration. I hope that's helpful. I'm not seeing any more questions coming in the chat. Do feel free to put a hand up or unmute. So we've spoken a little bit about, yes. So Daniel, thank you for your questions. Yes. So when online courses recommend reading, you don't need to visit the library. to take any materials out. So learning materials are all available online. Yes, everybody's invited to graduation, and it's a wonderful time to meet people. And sometimes people turn that into a lovely holiday in Scotland, using the graduation as a fantastic opportunity to visit Scotland, come to the city, and it's great fun. Okay, so I don't know, Anil, if you are able to answer the question about fees. So as next steps to tonight's session, I will direct you back to the web pages to find out some specifics about applications to different courses, about finding out how courses are paid for, because there's different structures to paying, about scholarships, about start times, about some of the more specific content in the courses, and so on. Anil, are you able to answer the question about fees?
So
Or was it
I've
better
just
to go
shared-
back to the web pages?
Yeah, I think I've just shared a link to admissions for inquiring about
Great.
specific queries that they have. So on that page there is a form that they can fill up,
Wonderful.
and specific to any queries that they have, and admissions will come back to them.
Oh, that's great. Yes. So,
Or
like I say,
if they wanted, and you can share which program you're interested, we're very happy if you want to send your email address to me via the chat, to Jenny Crow, and we can get someone to reply back to you on that from the program. If you can tell us which program you'd be interested in, Louisa, we're very happy to get someone to reply back to you on that. So yeah, you can send it in the to me as a private message if you don't want to put your email address out there, because yeah, we can do that for you.
thank you, Jenny.
I also I don't know if you'd like me to share, Kirstin. I have some final thoughts about online study, if that would be helpful. So I think
Yes.
so online study is a bit different from coming to campus and having those regular check-ins. So what I would say is that the more you participate, the more you get out of it. So, and sometimes that means having a plan of when you're going to study and committing regular time to doing that. Because I think sometimes it's easy for you to almost forget that you're studying, even though you may think, oh, the assessment's due. But I think having a real plan and the outset of when you're going to study, carving out a bit of time, think about where you're going to study, and how this is going to fit into your life. But I would say that the more you participate, the more you get involved in the discussion. And particularly what's great at master's level is that you all come with different work backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds. It's really great to really hear that as part of the learning. But this is what it's like from my work background. This is what it's like from my work experience. And giving examples really brings the online learning to life. So that's something that I would really encourage you to do as part of your learning. And it makes it a really varied international experience, because there's often students who are based in various different countries. And it's really great to hear from your point of view and your work background as well, because a lot of you are in different roles. So it's really great to hear about that. I'd also really encourage you to connect with others on your course to help you. Yeah, sometimes with online studies, there's highs and lows with that. And so I would really encourage you to get alongside potentially some others in your course, and also make those connections, because I noticed this comment about further studies. So yes, there's opportunities for PhD, but also research opportunities, and it's trying to make those connections and make those connections with staff. So do reach out to people and yes, if you wanted this, we can put. I've lost my train of thought. So Daniel, very happy to put you in contact with some people. It would be good if you could send some more details of what your area of study would be that you're interested in. But yes, there are PhD opportunities as well. And so we do encourage you to keep connecting with the university, and yeah, we encourage further study. And the masters, particularly when you do a dissertation, does often quite nicely connect with a PhD.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just say a little more about Daniel's query. Thank you so much, Daniel, for asking. Great question. So just Jenny's kind of hit it on the head there. So I think doing a master's degree is especially if you take research courses within it, and if you do a dissertation, is a fantastic preparation to see if a PhD is for you. So it's a nice toe in the water to start finding out, oh, is this something that I would like to keep pursuing? What's involved in writing a longer piece of work? Actually, and it also prepares you then to think, is a PhD for me? Because being able to commit to and complete a master's study at postgraduate level is a good indicator to potential supervisors, to places that you might go for funding, that you are able to commit to a longer project in that way, and that you have developed to the extent of a master's degree, the knowledge and skills that are needed to then go on and pursue further study at doctoral level, which is the one step on from master's level. Master's level is level 11, doctoral study is level 12. So thank you, Daniel. That's a great question.
Thank you.
So I think we're just about out of time. Very happy to, Anil, very happy if you want to share with participants. Jenny's offered to have share her email address. I'm also more than happy. I'll be delighted to hear from you. Even more delighted if you tap me on the shoulder at graduation and say, hey, I came to that session. Do you know, it's wonderful to have that vision in mind, that graduation day, walking across that stage, everyone's clapping. You know, it's a wonderful thing to start thinking about. So yeah, I would be delighted to hear from you, even to hear your thoughts about postgraduate study, to chat through a little bit more about, if you're not too sure about it, what you think the opportunities are, the barriers. Very happy to keep this conversation going after tonight. So which just leaves me to say thank you so much for giving up precious time to come along and say hi and find out a little bit more about the next step in your learning journey, and would love to hear from you, and even better, meet you one time in the future. So very much appreciated, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
So, Kirstin, we've got one more question in the chat.
Missed it.
Yes, so about
Oh,
research projects and being...
Good question. So many people do this. This is very common within a master's program to do a dissertation remotely. Now, this takes time to decide the right project for you, because it's not so much thinking about would you do something in a lab or not, who's your supervisor going to be, and so on. But a lot of it is about the time frame of doing it. So sometimes people think about a master's project as being a little chunk off, a little bite off something bigger. So people may do something where they're collecting what we call empirical data, but people also do things like systematic reviews, other types of review, and use other materials for doing their dissertation. This might be something in your factoring about, is online learning right for me, or is on-campus learning right for me? And that's maybe something, if you're thinking about a particular course program and you have a particular goal in mind, it will be a good thing to probably talk to the program director about, because there's also lots of other simulated ways to do learning. There's also lots of other ways that people engage with more practical skills at the moment. So that's a really great question, Louisa. And again, maybe something to get a little bit deeper into after tonight.
Yeah, so I am still getting to know the psychology program that Louisa's thinking about. I think sometimes what we can support is external supervisors. So sometimes projects are possible with an external supervisor who might be more locally based. So it really depends what you're hoping to do. And I think sometimes your ideas develop as you undertake the master's project about what would be possible. And usually there's kind of research methods course. So I know in psychology there's a research methods. So there's as part of that, that helps you shape what you'd like to do for the dissertation. So yes, time zones is often something that we're thinking about. So we try to share time zones of when things are happening. Most of the programs, the learning can be taken at any time during the day or night, depending where you are. And most of the discussions are asynchronous, so you can reply whenever it suits you. So it's meant to be so it's flexible to fit in with then different work patterns, different time zones. I think sometimes so we try to put time zones when when there is a time for something so that you can know what time it is. But often those time zones only tend to impact things like submission deadlines. But what I would encourage people to do is not leave it to the last minute when submitting things. Because if you're leaving it to the last hour of submitting it, I know yeah, I know that sometimes you might be working on it, but I would encourage you not to leave it to super last minute. So hopefully that's helpful. We are very used to supporting students who are based outside the UK. So this is something that is quite normal in our online programs. Hopefully that answers your question.
Okay. So, like I say, I'd be delighted to hear from you. I'm sure Jenny would too.
Yeah, I'll put my email address in the chat box just in case anyone's got any further questions, and very happy to I might forward them on to somebody else, like the question from Louisa. I have forwarded on to Natalia, who's the course administrator, and Natalia's lovely. So she will get back to you about that. So yeah, great to have all your questions tonight. It's really nice to meet you all.
Okay, so you have our contact details, and we will wish you goodbye for now and enjoy the rest of your evening. And thanks again for coming along to join us tonight. All the best with your studies.
Bye for now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kirstin.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye for now. Bye, everybody.
Bye.